another Aurora, but this one being from the Philippines. Will we see an Aurora versus an Aurora grand finals? We're going to find out in these 3 games, hopefully 3 games, or will Onic be able to get to the grand final spot to face off Aurora from Turkey? We'll find out. Now, one thing I will say, Rockhart, these lineups across the board here is pretty much what we've been seeing for the past maybe 3-4-ish months. And these are some of the most comfort, best picks for these players on both sides.
I actually was going to say that. Like, this is so comfort. Like, did they even draft? Like, I think everyone just got exactly what they wanted. No questions asked. It feels like Onic is, I actually don't blame it. Our analysts are a little bit split on this one. Just because it feels like it's so good for either of them. It can go either way.
Yeah, part of this is, I don't know, if you look at both and what we've seen throughout Games of the Future so far for 2025, it is a whole lot of roam impact, which has always been the case. So if you look at the teams that have had the most, and these are the teams that really is the roam pressure. Like roam, especially the Cho, for example, this is key bowler, and he's got his Cho pick. We've seen him do this in many stacking roams, right? He's go ahead and get those pickoffs. This is a very extended roam in comparison. For example, if you compare it to Hylos is not your roam. He's mainly utility and lay down the glorious pathway. Yes, he has a stun, but essentially he's there to go ahead and provide either a quick way to follow or to disengage or to cut off the opposing team. But the way that Light plays the high a little different too. That's another thing you have to take in consideration. Again, Light being one of the most aggressive roams in professional MLBB. Oh, mid lane. Oh.
That's speaking of aggression, right after getting the real world, they go for the fight, and Sans gets first blood. Of course, Demon Kite gonna not let that go unpunished. Gonna go ahead and get that kill, so it's a 1-for-1, and that's both of our mid laners. Actually, no, it's Kyrie falling on the other side, so that's gonna slow him down a little bit, man.
Yeah, that's tough. You die early as a jungler, you're gonna have some difficulty, right? But you got to be able to catch up. YSS is pretty good at doing that, though, even if you have your late start into the transition here. So they're going to fight for this turtle. There's going to be no contest for this, as you mentioned, with Kyrie going down. So they go for that. Now, part of this, too, is, again, they forced that fight in the mid, but as soon as those level 4s were available, Aurora Gaming Philippines knew that they had basically an advantage that they could work with. And this is the thing, too. You don't see too often the aggressiveness in the gold lane from our previous teams, right? But, for example, this is Dominkite and Skylar. Skylar having a massive history of performances throughout Indonesia. Dominkite making a name for himself over the years, and this is the most classic matchup you'll see, a Harith versus a Granger. For a while, people were tired of seeing this. Maybe they still are, and that's why the gold lane has changed up so much lately, where now you can put those fighters in the gold lane, but they're essentially going to be doing the same thing. They want to go ahead and scale into that mid to late game. They both sort of scale around the same timing. Now, if one of them can solo kill each other, which we've seen before, whether that be the Granger or the Harith, then that gives them that little bit of an advantage to work with. But right now, it's basically a stalemate across the map. If you look at, again, the reason why this draft is, we say it's so balanced, not just because of the comfort, but because of the way that the timing plays out for these compositions. They're not going to be crazy action-packed early games like we've seen previously. They're going to mostly fight around if they force something in the mid before the turtle comes up, or it'll be around the turtle fight.
I actually completely agree. I feel like these are both like just so balanced. There's just a little bit of like deviation, like who spikes faster. Sometimes they can spike a little bit faster. Some heroes, especially like you're talking about the Harith and the Moskov, right? Sorry, it's Harith and the Granger on top side. It's actually really good for both of them. Sometimes if you can get a really good catch, the Harith can just burst down the Grangers, stuff like that, right? So, yeah, absolutely. It feels like both of these gold laners are actually very heavily affected by the patch, but very happy to play it. Ooh, lots of understrikes being locked in by Onic. This might be actually a pretty good fight for them. See if that's gonna happen. Lupi, you'll get a little bit of lantern flare treatment there and gonna get bursted out before even casting anything. Even has the green on his ultimate right now, and that's a second turtle going over to Aurora Gaming here from the Philippines.
It's another pickup. Again, objective plus a kill that they can work with. You know, these being spread out here. Edward? He's gonna get away.
Oh man. Oh, look at that, kid boy, with the insurance policy right at the back. It's going to help you catch up if you're Kyrie.
I was going to say, that's essentially what you need to do if you're Onic, you know, and great catch there for Keyboy to be there on time. Great communication from Onic to make that play happen. And, you know, technically throughout the series that we've seen here, Rockhart, for Aurora Gaming Philippines, it's usually Edward getting, you know, having trouble in the early game where he's focused on, he might get some early deaths, but he always makes up for it. Like, that's one of the things about why he's called Mr. Consistent and all his other acronyms that he has for his names for him, because he has that potential to be able to do this. Is Lupi gonna have some trouble here? He is an Esmeralda. He's gonna get dragged.
Oh man, look at that. Lupi, of course, has more sustainability now. It's like a 1v2. Oh, off-cam kill there for Edward, by the way. They're taking a lot of pressure on the mid and taking out Light with them as well. Of course, Lupi is going to be the sacrificial lamb for that, but it feels like it's very worth, especially for Onic.
Yeah, see, Onic is starting to at least find these little wins across the map. They're starting to go ahead and shift the momentum, which they need to do. Again, when you lose in the jungle, you lose your jungler early on, I should say. You kind of have to go ahead and cover the other lanes, the other grounds here. They might actually potentially, if they can take the third turtle once it's up, that's the best thing for Onic, because right now Aurora Gaming is, especially with getting the first tier 1 turret down, maintaining a bit of a lead. Now, this lineup, like I said, for Onic is essentially still capable of getting that numbers advantage just by playing around Keyboy. And so, hovering around this mid lane, they want to go ahead and clear it. Light's going to go ahead and go for it. Oh, okay, he actually disengages. Thought he was going to drop the Glorious Pathway down, but this fight for the third turtle, half health.
They're actually holding on to ultimates very, very well, especially here for Aurora. They're having a lot of ultimates ready for the fight. They get the turtle and they kill very stocked. Aurora Gaming PH, that's 1.8k gold lead for them, and they're not done yet. Nice, so I think they want to keep on going for more. They don't forget they still have that Glorious Pathway. Decides to just play a bit more carefully after that.
It's one of the things you can do. Again, it's positioning, right? Light was in the perfect position. He was right there in that bush. Didn't even really need to do too much. It's just the presence of that Hylos again and having that revitalize you. The difficult part for Onic and their lineup is actually dealing with that. I mean, at some point, Keyboy on the Cho, whether he's able to get a pick off or not, if he gets stunned and stopped in his tracks, you know, he can get low pretty quickly, or he has to burn the flicker. Lupi as well, man. Lupi 0-3. Your Esmeralda usually is the one that's kind of, they would say, you know, Esmeralda's kind of unkillable. She's tough to deal with. But when you have this kind of crowd control offered with this lineup from Aurora Gaming, and then that follow through with the amount of damage early game that a Lancelot provides you to an extent too, in the way the Keyboy.
A free man knockup on the G Kundo. Actually, right close by is Sans. Gonna get lots of kills and some decent DPS despite obviously the Harris being there. They're gonna push back and we're gonna join the fight just a little bit. Lupi's actually quite low. I don't think Onic wants to go for this one, and they will not. So pretty good pickoffs happening here for Onic, but again, being traded almost instantly by Aurora that time.
It's always the difficult part about being a Cho player. You know, all the Cho players out there know what it's like. You got to go in, you couldn't do, or set up your kick, and essentially you're kind of sacrificing yourself away, right? You want to go in and get that setup for your team, but you know that it's going to be very difficult to get away, especially if you use the flicker to initiate. But nonetheless, what Onic has been able to do here, Rockhart, is stay within grounds. Like, it's not anything too crazy of a lead that Aurora Gaming has over Onic, which puts them in a position that they can actually contest this Lord if they want to. Skylar is going to go ahead and get that turret down, picks up a Sky Piercer as well. So the scaling here on both sides for the gold laners are going to start to show. Sky Piercer 2 for Yue. There's the kick.
Okay, there you go. That's what you want to get started here. Light will use the Glorious Pathway to dig out. Edward misses on the Land Shaker, and actually that might force them to go back. Skylar, look at this guy. He's just going bananas. Throwing bullets left, right, and center, taking down Edward in the process, and now they're pushing Aurora Gaming back. They seem to be the ones who are in control of this Lord Pit.
Yeah, they're going to go that. And meanwhile, exactly when he got the Sky Piercer, he gets a kill. So they have positioning here, but I think Aurora Gaming wants to go for this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look at Demon Kite, though. Fourth Rose just to buy a little bit more time, but not going to be enough for him to go for the steal. Kyrie this time has massive control on that turtle, or sorry, that Lord, and they're going to be able to get that one. Going to be great for taking down those turrets on mid and bottom, get more golds into their pocket.
That is the quickest I feel like I've seen a Lancelot get zoned in on it and taken out. I mean, it was more so of an attempt to like just go for it for Demon Kite to see if he could potentially get in the position to try to retribution steal that away. But Onic played that really, really well. They knew that was going to happen, and they timed it greatly. So now with this, Lord's pushing up top. Onic will go ahead and continue to open up the map. They want to get this mid turret down. It's just a couple hits away, and Aurora Gaming are going to have to just give this one up as they prepare for the tier 2s. Keyboy giving the information that Demon Kite was getting his orange. Now putting the pressure for the purple. They'll take that away. Now let's see. Aurora Gaming with their backs against the wall in this defense for now. They still got the holy shields and everything else. Still going to be fine, but this is where we have to start to see that time that they built up, and now that this favor is for Onic, can Aurora Gaming get a team fight that they're looking for? So far, you see what's happening here, Rockhard. If Light is the one that gets kicked, it kind of messes things up a little bit. You know, you got to give props to Keyboy for being able to get that target acquisition down.
Yeah.
All they're going to get off this is some of those shield defenses being popped. The top one goes down. They still maintain the tier 2 turret in the mid. But again, for Keyboy, that's what is so admirable for the Chos that are able to pull that off. They get the right targets. That kick alone changes that cadence of the fight, and that's why they were able to win that last one that did break out. And this is start to be an increasingly more of a problem, especially for the Granger. You start getting stacks. Aurora Gaming has to take that into consideration, you know, and just so the team fights that have been breaking out, looking at the items too, even though Lutby had a difficult time in the early game, you know, 3 early deaths, he's essentially tanky enough in a way, especially now that he's got the oracles and the enchanted talisman and he's got the ice shield, that he can actually take some of the damage. Yeah, he's actually a lot tankier just off those items. And so that's something they have to watch out for. Aurora Gaming, though, they'll be able to clear this out. Light dropping down the Glorious Pathway once again defensively. But you're seeing what's happening here, Rockhart. They're just kind of cut off from the rest of the map.
That's true. I think that's a big point, right? Like, Light, despite being the tankiest member of Aurora Gaming, actually is not as tanky on his own as Lutby, right? Light needs that Glorious Pathway to regen the HP. You need that Revitalize. So that's all, like, slowly just regenerating your health. You're not really, like, built like a rock or anything, right? So if you can catch that, if you can stop the regen before it happens, the Hylos is surprisingly squishy.
Aren't you a Hylos main? Or was?
Yes, I'm speaking from experience.
I was going to say, speaking.
That's exactly what I mean.
Top Philippines, Hylos at one point, right? I mean, I know you have a ton of experience with the Hylos, and that's exactly what we're seeing kind of happen here to Aurora Gaming. They are going to go ahead and get in position for this Lord, though. Again, broken walls, something always to consider in the team fights around here. But look at the poke. The poke of the Granger is what that advantage is in comparison to the Harith as well. You can go ahead and fire off some of these shots of the Destinata, keep them at bay. Again, that space for Skylar is so important here too. So they'll go ahead and reset the Lord. A Glorious Pathway drop down.
Oh, there you go. That's more proactive right now this time for Aurora Gaming. And now they're chasing Lutby, which will be protected very well by Sans. That real-world manipulation. They're just knowing they can play around that, but look at Edward. He's trying to go for it. Great placing on Land Shaker, but he will get taken out. Just not enough DPS right now for Aurora Gaming to make any difference in the team fights, except for Doming Kite. He is definitely the guy who is making it work, at least making it sure that Aurora PH can kind of do something in a team fight, but it is still just a massive amount of lead, a massive amount of control for Onic Indonesia.
They're still going to go for this, Rockhart. They're trying to get an opening here. Oh,
Oh.
They tried.
Nice
Domin
try
Kite
there.
was swinging around. The Kite brothers were trying to make something happen. Because again, that last team fight, man, this is some of the most, again, this is some of the highest level of Mlbb, right? You saw how many battle spells were used, the flickers to avoid Edward, for example, when he went in with the Landshaker to get that stun off. If he would have gotten the stun off with the Landshaker, then it would have been a completely different team fight. But because of, again, great usage, great timing from Onic to avoid that, then they reinitiated after taking out Light, gives them that advantage. So a whole lot of resources used up. The Lord's going to charge into this top base turret. We'll see. It is going to be cleared out rather quickly, though, because once again, these lineups are so balanced across the board for this game one. And you're seeing that. So Onic, they'll have to go ahead and decide, can we go ahead and get a base turret down? They still have these waves to deal with, but at best, they might get one base turret. RWM drop down.
Well, that's if they can actually win this team fight, which look like they're going to be able to take out Sans. Aurora Gaming definitely going to do great with that -1, but look at Lutpi. He's diving in on the middle of that pack and doing some decent damage, pushing back Aurora Gaming. I mean, they look like they had some momentum, but again, a great pushback from that Esmeralda.
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive, though. Aurora Gaming holding on with that push. It doesn't really matter that they're down 4,000 gold. Like, that's what I'm saying with these lineups. It's more so of a chess game when it comes to these team fights and that execution factor. You know, even with that lead that Onic has, it's not so easy for them to actually strong arm Aurora Gaming Philippines with this. Edward does he just recently picked up a Chastised Pauldron. That item actually does really well against certain marksmen. You can see this too, even defensively. Light, he's dealt with this all game, man. But finally, you know, he's got 3 core defensive items locked in: the Dom, Ice, Anti-Cuirass, Radiant Armor here too, to kind of help with the amount of damage that's coming out from Sans. You saw it from the last fight. He's already got his Divine Glaive too. So I'm assuming he's still going to be going even more magic damage here too on this Eve. I don't know if he wants to even get any defensiveness for Sans just yet, because he hasn't really dealt with that pressure. Like, he's just kind of relying on the flicker, and he's pumping out the damage. Meanwhile, Skylar is as well. Fighting into the real world manipulation is the best thing that Onic has right now for them, and it's allowing that space to be there. So it's a chess match, you know, and 20 seconds for this Lord to come up. Aurora Gaming, they'll most likely contest it. They will not let any of this just go by. This is a little bit more difficult, once again, for Onic. The tankier Light gets, and Edward, it doesn't have to all just fall onto Light's hands now. Like, Edward can be the one to go ahead and kind of start these fights up like we saw him previously. And you never know, if he goes and gets in that stun and that lands this time, that might change that course of the fight. Immortality being picked up here by Keyboy too. Once again, giving a little bit of that extra time that he might need to escape after setting up the Way of the Dragon, the kick. So this positioning is super important here. Neither team's probably going to fully commit to this unless they catch someone out. A beacon used, though, from Yue. So that not being available actually is very helpful for Onic. But the Lord evolves now at the 18-minute mark.
Yeah,
so
that's a few seconds
difficult,
that
a little difficult to take.
So you're absolutely right. Again, it's all about whether or not Aurora can actually tank for real world. And as time is progressing, they actually might be able to. But here comes that big fight we're talking about. They're diving straight into the back line, and that's going to be the jungler for Aurora Gaming removed already. And now it's a 4v5, and they are going to have to make a run for the hills if they want to survive. And they're going to be able to take out Lutpi. But looks like all that's going to be left on the field is going to be Dominkai. It's 1v3. It's only a Harif. What are you going to do? You got a big wave on the middle, and I think that's exactly what Onic is just going to capitalize. No need to go for the Lord this time around. 24 seconds on the death timers at earliest. That feels like game.
Onic winning that fight around the real world manipulation. Exactly what I was talking about would be the hard thing for Aurora Gaming Philippines to get through. Skylar had all the space in the world to fire off from the back lines, and they collapsed on Aurora Gaming Philippines. They knew the time was coming, so Aurora just kind of decided, you know what, maybe we go for the attempt. And even the Lancelot for Demon Kite here just wasn't enough to be able to survive this. You know, it was just a hard-fought victory, though, for Onic. Again, they had to go ahead and get themselves back into this game after Kyrie went down early on, and they held on. they worked as a team. Like, the synergy was amazing here. So let's go ahead and throw this over back to the panel to break down our game one.
Everyone, game one is in the books, and it is Onic and Danisha who strike first and take the 1-0 lead here at Games of the Future Abu Dhabi 2025. Strong start, sharp execution, and a clear message sent early in this series. This is a statement win from Onic. Soldier?
To be honest, Onic, they surprised us and they said it's easy to play against us, but in the late game, we will show you another face. Because Onic, they know how to deal in the late game, mid game, and they let the tempo become late for them, for their team, and to grab all their strength and put it in one hand and directly to the base and directly to the team Aurora Gaming.
That's right. They showed confidence from the draft, clarity in their rotations. They didn't rush. This wasn't messy. It was calculated for them.
Yes, that is very true. Actually, I'm kind of quite impressed actually from Granger and YSS, because I would say they were the ones who had amazing rotation, amazing positioning. As me, and of course, as a main batsman, I
Kapai, tidak ada pi. Iya. Ay, dapat kalau itu. Tidak ada info-info dapat. Ada info kan? Saya saja berangkat. Jadi Cang berangkat. Pak Yasser. Akil. Itu saya.
learned a lot from both of them.
To make Onic secure the game.
Okay, masyadong laptopnya ng pwede mo hindi na.
Onic controls little bit of objectives, but they sacrifice the 3 turtles, but in the end they secure 2 lords, and that's the way to finish the game. Because Aurora Gaming, they try to map controls in the first game, like for the early, but Onic tries to give them the objectives, and we will focus on another side, like the hidden side, and like the side you are not seeing.
Of course, and the MVP, as we saw, was actually Sands, who was playing with Eve. 4 kills, 1 death, assists. Amazing performance from Sands, and amazing performance from both of Onic and Aurora Gaming PH.
Now, how is Aurora gonna respond right now? As we all know, Aurora, they never go down without a fight. You know, this loss, it will just make them more powerful. I know they will do a comeback.
For Aurora Gaming, they need to grab all the papers, because we remember yesterday, Aurora Gaming PH was, for their games, it was a little bit easy for the opponent, but they are coming from the hard way. Like against Onic, it's a little bit hard, but some of teams are testing.
Yeah,
we are saying, I will test and I will see, because in the semifinals, it's better to test than they say sorry.
Definitely. I believe actually Aurora Gaming PH won't go down easily, and they would actually, I'm expecting a comeback from them on the second match. I don't think this is going to be a clean sweep, to be honest.
I know, we've seen this many times before. I mean, a strong start doesn't mean that the game is over.
Yeah.
We've seen it many times.
To be honest, Onic, we will little bit, I have a sense of clean sweep, but Aurora Gaming, they have some.
You have high hopes.
They will not let it go for clean sweep.
Keep your hopes high, but let's see if you actually succeed this time.
Yes, we will be seeing it.
Yeah.
We will be seeing it in game 2. No worries. Okay, we'll be coming up for a short break, and when we come back, it's draft for game 2.
Abu Dhabi and UAE at the moment seems to be the epicenter of autonomous robotics and many other activities.
Running a business doesn't have to be complicated. At Solutions Plus, we provide a tailored combination of consulting, business process outsourcing, and technology solutions, from digital to finance, procurement, HR, ESG, and integrated facilities management. We take care of it all, letting you focus on success. Partner with Solutions Plus and take your business to the next level.
Health is the essence of who we are. M42 is a global health champion harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, technology and genomics to transform healthcare systems and ensure that everyone, everywhere, has access to the care they need. Our dedication to health knows no borders, and we serve with the belief that health is not a privilege. It is a universal right.
What if the spaces between us could disappear? And one move makes all the difference. Sometimes it feels like bonds growing stronger across any distance. When the spaces between us disappear, beautiful things happen.
Looking for car, health or home insurance? Don't waste hours calling around. At insurancemarket.ae, I bring you quotes from the UAE's top insurers in seconds. Compare, choose and buy instantly, all in one place. Over 200,000 policyholders already trust us with a 4.8-star rating. Join them today. Insurancemarket.ae, where insurance gets smarter. Insurancemarket.ae.
Energy is life. And today, life is happening in two worlds, physical and digital. In Abu Dhabi, where source energy powers innovation, a new kind of energy rises. An energy that unites worlds through intention and action. Where physical skills meet digital mastery and next generation of champions are born. This is where talent meets technology. Where strength meets strategy. Where energy amplifies through action and powers the future. The games of the future, powered by ADNOC.
All right, everyone, we're heading straight back into the fire. Game 2 draft has now started and the pressure has officially arrived. Onic Indonesia hold the 1-0 lead in the series. One more win and they have their ticket straight to the grand finals. But standing in their way, of course, we have Aurora Gaming PH. This is the response moment. This is where legacies are tested. Okay, let's go straight to the desk. Banik already started.
Adham.
Yep.
As the first picks, Fanny, Yusin Shin, target bands like two junglers.
Yeah, two target bands.
But Onic, they have another thing. Croc removed, and the other one.
Zushin, yes. Zushin is actually banned, 2 target bans from Aurora and 2 meta bans from Onic. This is going to be very interesting. Who are we going to see Kyrie play with? Are they gonna keep Basha open? Because I can see Basha is still open actually. And Yuzong is banned right now. And the last ban from Onic might be another fighter or a Roma.
Zushin out, Yuzong. Still Basha open.
Yeah.
Still Onslaught open. You have Guinevere, Harith. There is a lot of things open, but until now, for the first phase of the bans,
Among the planes exists.
Actually expected Eve as a ban because then Lancelot is open right now and Basha is open right now. Who is Aurora going to pick? That is the question right now because these 2 junglers are top meta junglers. They are stuck in a situation right now, Aurora, because they need to sacrifice one of the picks.
until now, they sacrificed Eve pick for Onic. Like Onic, they banned Eve, but I think they will go for another one. They have Lunox, they have Farsa. It's still open.
Yeah, but still, now we're in the pick phase, so they picked Lancelot. So they are actually Onic might go for Basha, or they might surprise us with a new jungler pick.
Basha open. Still, see, if Basha open, I think Aurora they have an answer because they let it open and they are comfortable to play against him. Like if they pick it, we have a secret pick, we have a pocket pick. No one will predict it.
We will see about that actually. So we're waiting for Scholar and Keyboard right now to go for their picks. Not necessarily going to pick a jungle right now. They might keep it for the 3rd pick. And they went for Kimmy as a mid laner. And of course, Basha. They just went for Basha immediately. Didn't care about getting countered. They said, we're going to take it anyways. I know we'll do great with Basha. But on the other hand, we might see a Farsa and a Lapu Lapu in the 2nd and 3rd pick for Team Aurora. Or do they have another saying in that case?
Picking Farsa and Lapu Lapu with Lancelot, it's recommended for Team Aurora. To win, but let's say, but for Team Onic, picking Kimmy and Basha and Esmeralda for 3 picks. Like it's a reply to Esmeralda versus Lapu Lapu and Basha as a jungler versus Lancelot. And for Farsa, I need to see because using a band and they picked Farsa for it. It's perfect for them. And Eve it's banned, but they played just last game with Onic.
Yeah,
they banned Eve.
Yes, that is very true. Right now we are in the 2nd ban phase. We still have lots of heroes that might get banned, like Gatotkacha, like Ruby, like Xborg. We have Harith also open as a gold laner because none of the teams picked a gold laner yet. They went for a carry. That means they might actually go for kind of a tanky team, mostly a tanky team, or they might be tricking them, giving them an idea that they're going tanky, but they will go for burst damage. We are waiting for that. Wow, a Helcurt ban. This is the first time we see Helcurt getting banned.
This is target ban.
This is a target ban for sure. They felt like Kyrie might actually... no, actually it's not, because I would say Helcurt is mostly used as a jungler. So I'm surprised. Why did they go for Helcurt? Did actually Onic think of going for for example, a gold laner Helcurt or a roamer Helcurt? I doubt it, but you know, of course, Aurora understands this more than I do, than both of us. You know, so they've done their homework. They know who might they go for. But in the last ban phase, we're waiting for the last ban from Kyrie. He went for Moskov. Maybe that's why actually they actually went for a Helcurt ban, because they wanted to go for Moskov, and Onic understood that trick, so they banned him in the process as well. so they won't give a chance to Aurora to go for Moskov. Very smart. But still, we have actually Claude and we have Harith in the gold lane. So will Light from Aurora ban any of these two, or will he go for a different ban? We will see.
I want to see Harith in the game as last game. Also, Khalid is open. But as a Moskov, it's getting banned. Aurora have a less chance, but still, I want to see from Floyd. It's banned, the last ban for the blue side. For the red side, I want to see Sans and Carry, because they bind Carry, and they will go for a tanky build, a tanky team, and Aurora, they will have the counter for this. They are ready to it.
We might actually see a Terizla in that game. We might see a physical damage hero because, you know, it won't make any sense for Onic to go for a Harith pick, because that's 4 magical damage, and that's a lot of magical damage for a single team. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to go for a physical hero. Ranger is such a great pick, of course, for a gold laner. We are still waiting for a roamer. It might be... who do you think might be a roamer? Chow? Did we go for the easy Chow?
Yeah. Chow as a roamer in the tanky build. It's really good. Chow.
They actually Aurora.
Chow as a roamer.
Yeah, actually Aurora took Chow. I thought Onic would go for them, but I think Aurora might actually go for Chow, or they might go for another
Chow and CC. Let's see.
That is very
Aurora?
Interesting, actually. That is very, very, very interesting.
For Aurora until now, if they pick CC and Chow,
that would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
And hovering on Chow, still thinking,
okay, they went for a
now
Chow.
they completed of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I like Lancelot and Chow, CC, Lapu Lapu, Farsa, as Kalia, Onic. Wow.
See,
what do you think?
Oh, wow.
For Onic draft.
Onic draft is very amazing. I mean, I would say mid to high damage output. For Aurora, they have more burst damage. They have more sustainability as well. This is not going to be an easy game for both.
It's a close draft for both.
It's a high skill game, actually, for both teams. It's going to be a very, very, very high skill game for both teams. Any mistake is not going to be forgivable.
I want to see Aurora how they will focus on their macros more.
We will see. We'll see about that.
All right, the tension is rising here, and the series could be decided right here, right now. Let's send it over to our casters to bring you Game 2 of Onic and Danisha versus Aurora Gaming PH. This could be the game that sends us to the grand finals. Casters, take it away.
Thank you again, panel, for breaking it down. Here we are, Game 2. And this time around, we're going to find out if they can even out the series here for Aurora Gaming Philippines to get to a Game 3. Honestly, rock hard, that's how we want it. You know, we want these semifinal matches to go the distance. They've got the lineup to be able to do it. I feel like there was some good adjustments here for Aurora. One being the fact that, you know, they went with their own pickoff potential. It could potentially snowball them into the right direction. Demon Kite really struggled in the previous game on the Lancelot. Now this time he's up against a utility jungler. We do still see that occasionally, right? Assassin versus utility. And sometimes the assassin gets the upper hand. Sometimes it's the utility, based around this kind of holistic composition that Onic brought. So we'll see if Aurora can actually make some early advantage by potentially getting her first blood.
That's true, because it is going to be double marksman basically versus double fighter, right? So this is something that is going to be, you know, I don't know, maybe meta shift creating, depending on how well either one performs. So we'll see maybe if, you know, double fighter actually is the way to go, right? Or maybe we'll see if, you know, having a Granger and a Kimi on your lineup actually makes it so difficult for these double fighters to perform. So those are things I'm actually looking forward to in this matchup. But you're absolutely right. Like, so much is just up in the air for this game. And again, Aurora Gaming has that little bit of an early advantage maybe, but it's not much.
Yeah, not much to deal with. Part of it, though, is like this lineup, you know, for the most part, yes, it's Edward on the Lapu Lapu again. It's a Demon Kite on the Lancelot. Even if they run it back for some of these heroes, it's more so just getting that upper hand. You have to give it up to Onic in the last game. They were just really good at the team fighting, really good at finding the right moments to avoid that setup potential, even from Edward and the Lapu Lapu. We always know that when the Lapu Lapu is secured for a team, not only does he do a lot of damage, he can tank up quite a bit, but the stuns with the Landshaker are so good, just like this.
Yeah, great stuns. And there you go, Kyrie with the first turtle of the game. Edward and Light not going to be able to help out Demon Kite as much. Look at the presence. Look at the domination of Onic in that one.
Yeah, there's they're going to deal with that. I mean, that's one of the things they have to be careful for. Some of these initiations, especially in the early portion of the game, you got to kind of approach them in the right way. And even more so in the turtle pits, you know, like those areas are crucial to be fighting in. Now, this map being potentially the last map, if Onic wins with it, expanding rivers, either way, when it comes down to these objectives, either team can choose to rotate really quickly. The fact that Dominkite is on a CC gold lane as well could change some of those later team fights, whereas, you know, Skylar essentially can do the same thing. It's only unfortunate for Skylar that he doesn't have the space that was provided with an Eve, like in game one, but because of the lineup, it's actually okay. You have a Kalea, you have the traction pulse from Sans, and that actually is enough to go ahead and keep him relatively safe. Plus, like I said, the flicker is always an option as well.
I think maybe they're thinking, you know what, we don't need like an Eve real world if we're gonna -1 anyway, right? Like there's just gonna be 4 enemies on the map. So that's they're thinking maybe of the Kalea. But look at that, Lutpi again is gonna be the sore spot here. Aurora Gaming is gonna try to punch on. Or, you know, but of course that isn't Esmeralda. Early game has great sustainability, and who has not that much sustainability, that's Dominkite, especially against 4 members of Onic.
See, that's a tough thing. You know, these lineups nearly mirror each other with the game plan. It's that pick-off centric lineup. Let's get a kill, utilizing either the Cho for Aurora or the Kalea here for Onic. And they get the upper hand because they made the play up top, almost getting this tier 1 too. Traction pulse thrown out.
A few more hits would have actually been huge for Sans there, but Yue gonna be able to dodge out. Again, Edward gonna be using the Bravest Fighter and the Flicker to get out of harm's way, which just leaves the map wide open for Onic to take that turtle.
Man, Rockart, it just seems like right now it's either Aurora Gaming Philippines is just not synced up like we've seen them in the previous matches, or it's just Onic playing so well. It's probably a combination of both. Onic seems to be just completely locked in on the game plan on what they want to do here. And again, if they're able to go ahead and put pressure where Aurora can't play around that plan of a pick-off, because the Tsunami Slam is going to go first.
Oh man, there you go. That's Tsunami Slam once more. At that point, Dominkite can't even use the Phantom Execution to get out of harm's way. And because of that, this is going to be another turret. That's going to be, turret rather. That's going to be so hard to defend against. Now, of course, there has to be something to give for Aurora. Skylar maybe absorbing some of Dominkite's hits, buying some time for Kyrie to get back into the fight here alongside Kiboy. That aggression of this duo, this Kalea and this Baksha, so nasty.
Kiboy is so locked into the series. There's the kick though.
Nice kick from Light. Obviously gonna get some kills back, and that is Hans. So Sans going down is gonna be so massive here for Aurora Gaming, and slowing down that Kimmy. That Kimmy felt like it was actually starting to like steamroller them, man.
Yeah, it's a problem they have to deal with, but nonetheless, right now Onic is just winning off Keyboy's Kalea. For the most part, it's all been the Tsunami Slam. So now Light's got to go ahead and fill that in. He's done as well. He's got actually a couple kills on this, but it's more so the way they're moving around the map. There's got to be an answer for this, especially as they set up around this next turtle coming up in a couple seconds here. You're seeing it. Demon Kite's going to get spotted out. He's actually having a difficult time this game, just like in game 1. Really getting pressured on his jungle, potentially to try to force him to use a retribution on the purple buff, so he doesn't have it for Turtle, but still, he'll be able to secure this just fine. Onic waits in positioning. Again, same thing. Mlbb giving information. Keyboy waiting for that Tsunami Slam. So we'll see how Aurora approaches this. This 3,000 gold difference might play a part into this fight, but Turtle secured.
Yeah, huge, tricky Turtle there, getting secured there by Onic. There goes that team fight light. Not going to be long for that world. Cannot really sustain Skylar's Ranger right now. Was just doing insane amounts of damage, even on Edward. That's a double kill for the gold laner of Onic. And not to mention, they also got that Turtle. Demon Kite now going to be struggling to even get the jungle camps on his side.
Let's see if he gets this orange. He should be able to retreat. Oh, he doesn't get it. Unfortunately, yeah, he doesn't get it, and it's looking even more grim now for Aurora Gaming Philippines here. The way this game is going, 3 turtles now in the hands of Onic, 5,000 up in terms of gold. They have a clear shot at taking the first Lord as well, unless somehow, some way, Aurora finds a way to crawl back into this game. But look at the pressure from Onic. They won't let up on this. And it's, you know, it's a stark difference, at least for the Esmeralda this time, when you see the Esmeralda struggle, but when you see it shine like this and you're able to go ahead, you know, you're deathless, you provide information, a Tsunami Slam again.
Oh man, that's a huge Tsunami Slam here, of course. Yue gonna be able to at least answer with the Feather Airstrike. That front line is starting to demolish and diminish on its health. That's Keyboy going down though. Demon Kites are doing some really good mechanics, but the rest of Onic are still inside the front lines. They're not really going back quite yet, but it is gonna be -1. Keyboy's aggression removed from the map might leave an opening for Aurora to make something happen here.
That pickoff is great. At least they get a kill. You know, it was a fight that was started off the Tsunami Slam. One of the first steps that Aurora needs to get back into the game. But even looking at the itemization here, there's quite a bit of difference, right? Even the gold lane right now, obviously the CC is going to scale up a lot slower than this Granger with given the way the game's gone. But, you know, you Sky Pierce, Malefic Aurora, Hunter Strike already. That's why Skylar's popping off on the damage. He's got the 4 kills. If he continues to stack up the Sky Piercer, it's going to be devastating in these later fights. And so for Aurora, as this Lord is up, they have to make a decision. Do we actually contest this? This is one of the difficult things, too, in that matchup of Assassin versus Utility, right? The Baksha, obviously tankier. You rely on the rest of your team to kind of, again, give you that information. You can always pull off a steal, though. That's one of the things about the Assassins, right? Especially the Lancelot. There's always potential for that. So even with Onyx lead, they'll respect it and just kind of take their time with this. There's no rush for them. But Aurora, they're the ones with a hard decision. Do we actually go for this? It's blitz down now.
Yeah, that's a huge blitz. Obviously, Onic is just going to be so far ahead of the curve here. Lapu-Lapu up on front. Edward can't really sustain against that lineup. Now, normally, you would be able to at least get some HP back, but Onyx just stopping that from happening, obviously with their superiority in terms of items. So, right now, it's just Aurora getting pushed back over and over again. I mean, like, the only thing I was thinking about for Onic is at least both Kyrie and Demon Kite were level 12 while that Lord was happening. But now that's not going to be the case here. We got Lord walking up on top, and I expect Onic to wait for this fully 100%, wait for it before they fight.
I'm surprised here, Rockhart, that Aurora decided to go ahead and stay around there, because it just seemed like, and maybe it was potentially they just didn't have the information, but seemed disconnected even in that approach to that Lord or deciding on what they wanted to do. They're going to go for this kick.
Oh, yeah, 100% going to go for it. Better stun here coming in from Edward, but again, once more, just evaporating forth. You can even hit the final blow of that one. And now Kyrie's up on front. Skylar is just going on like a shooting range here or something. Aurora being very proactive here on the front line, though. They're absorbing Sun's and Skylar's damage, and it's just too much. There's just so much damage here without anything to actually catch it on the front line. And there you go. That's 2 inhibitor turrets going down for Aurora Gaming here. Again, holding on for dear life.
They've been choked out from the resources here, basically here, Rockhart. Now they're going to make a play here in the mid, going for this last base turret. They'll get just that. But with Dominkite coming back up, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and get back here. Mlbb has been a nuisance this whole time. He has been the scout for Onic, giving all the information. that they need on how they approach these fights. Again, this is what Esmeralda does so well. And, you know, in this case, to an extent, then other than that, you don't have that much else. To an extent, then other than that, you don't have that much else, right? You've kind of got to utilize the kits, and that's for Edward and to an extent Light and Dominkai to clear out these waves and manage them. But it's so difficult once the feathered airstrike is gone. So this is so crucial for Yue to really get the most value out of this, and that's why they're trying to manage these waves. The Lord is making its way in the base, and the traction pulse thrown out.
Yeah, throwing it out there, and there's just not much the front line here. Gonna go in for the back line. Light is hunting down Skylar, but with that Purify will not be able to actually make a mark. Just a few more hits. That might be it. Onic are gonna be the ones on top here, and gonna be beating out Aurora Gaming PH 2-0.
You can see Kyrie excited about that one. A let's go after they win it. Onic just looking so good here. I mean, this was probably some of the cleanest that we've seen them play, at least here for the Games of the Future. And it was just very one-sided. This one was completely their game, their control.